Ooh.
Are we just going to start early? Should we? We're all here. Is everyone set?
I'm
Sure.
good to go whenever.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hindsight Grad Show Podcast. This is a show dedicated to highlighting the visual communications grad class of 2020 while building community connections. On the show, we will be speaking with students of the visual communications graduating class, as well as local artists, designers, teachers, and business owners. Here to talk about art, life, and everything in between. Totally. We have our student, Ms. Emma Darbyshire.
Hello.
Soon to be Ms. Emma
Lippert.
Ooh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we have our guest, Tyrel Anderson. He is a second-year visual communication student and El Presidente of the Visual Arts Student Society.
You betcha.
Yes, excellent. So let's get this started off with talking about Emma's grad project.
Oh, is that what we're going to be discussing?
Yeah, we're getting straight to the nitty-gritty.
All right. Well, where would we like to start?
Let's start with all of it. And yeah, mostly just there. Yeah.
All right.
Tell us everything.
Well, I originally came into the college because I wanted to do photography. And then I discovered that I loved graphic design. And then I discovered I loved relief printmaking. And I've never thought of myself as like a fine arts person. But this is like a very fine art that I just love. So I decided to do a giant woodcut print for this year's show.
Okay.
Wow.
A giant. How big is this woodcut print?
It's going to be 8 feet long, 2 feet tall.
Okay.
I was going with kind of a more narrow scroll looking format just because I'm trying to tell a story with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your story?
My story is about Odin, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much about Odin as it is about everything that he went through. His main passion was just to find knowledge, and he sacrificed everything, including hanging himself on a tree and dying and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. I feel like this guy died a lot or had a lot of strange things happen to him.
Oh, yeah. He pulled out his own eye.
Perfect.
Just for a sip of water from the well of the cosmos. Like,
Right.
he did a lot, but the point is, what is the most important thing in this world, right? When we think about it, and like everybody would give you different answers: money, love, fame, success, blah, blah, blah. But when you come down to it, for me, it's knowledge. Because the more you know, the more you can do with your life, the more places you can go, the more people you can talk to. I think it's one of the most important things that there is.
Right.
And my family history is a little bit cloudy because my grandfather just up and took off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about my Icelandic side of the family, but I do know that at one point they worshipped Odin. And I can take his character and his personality, apply it to myself and apply it to my history and hopefully find some more clarity, I guess.
Were you going to relate it to like social, political issues or anything, or have you strayed away from that?
Oh, I utterly strayed away from that.
You
I was going to go for a more political piece just because some things happened this year that were kind of interesting and I wanted to comment on. But a lot of people do political pieces, and I decided I'd rather pull myself out of that atmosphere rather than put myself in, especially because this is an important show. It's the last year that the visual communications program is the Vis Com program. It's
Right.
going to be changing to art and design.
Right.
I mean, maybe some people say that makes more sense, but I prefer Vis Com. It's just kind of fun, and it envelops so much more than just art and design.
Right. Let's talk about that. Let's open it up.
Ooh.
Tyrel, how do you feel about it?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I'm Vis Com for life, man.
Well, yeah, like we are, but everyone else can be art and design. You know.
Yeah. We're like the last of the Vis Com.
Yeah. But I mean, it is like,
It makes sense.
it makes sense just from like when people are researching, like, I want to go to art and design school. They're not like, I want to go to Vis Com school.
Yeah,
You know, so it, like,
unfortunately, it does
yeah.
make sense.
It's better for awareness and just like simplicity. I mean, since year one, people are like, what do you go to school for? And I've always just said art and design anyway, because I think I told one person visual communications, and that just opened up a can of worms. Like,
I
so
say
many
Vis Com
questions.
just to see the look on their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone got asked if they were learning sign language. Was it someone? I got like,
Oh,
there's so
maybe.
many different things.
Someone's asked me if I was going to be a TV radio host of some sort.
I mean, you could
And I'm
do
like,
that.
I could, but
mean,
no.
Yeah. Nay.
I'm not into TV hosting.
Not at all.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Okay.
No interest at
Maybe
all.
one day. We'll get you there.
Maybe art
In the far
curating.
future.
Yeah. Tyrel, how's your second year going?
It's going.
It's going.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
direction is it going?
not bad. Not great sometimes, but not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Learning
How-
lots.
Yeah. What brought you to this program?
I got sick of working for terrible bosses,
Excellent.
mostly.
Yes.
And I wanted to pursue art because I liked it. And now I'm here.
Right. So did you come to Medicine Hat because you're from Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah, closer to home.
Right. And
And-
you're from Gull Lake?
Yep. Gull Lake, Saskatchewan.
Ooh, not Gull Lake, Alberta.
Nope.
Made that mistake.
We have a Gull Lake.
We do. It's right outside of Lacombe in Red Deer.
Oh my goodness.
I heard it's terrible.
It's,
It's called Gull Lake.
it's a lake. It's got a beach-ish.
Well, at least they have a lake. We don't
Yeah.
even have a lake anymore.
Well, there.
Oh, the lakeless Gull Lake.
Yeah.
Did you look at any other schools when you were coming?
Yeah, I kind of looked in Calgary and stuff, but this was far cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, where did I apply? I think it was at the university, but they wanted like a 700 deductible. I was like, no way, Jose.
Was it like ACAD or was it?
It might have been. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
kind of
all right.
ridiculous.
That's fair.
So this worked out better though.
Yeah.
Better, smaller classes.
Yeah.
Get to know people a lot more.
Yeah.
Better times.
Opens up lots of doors.
Yeah,
Finding.
definitely.
Yeah.
And plus, we're learning some really awesome stuff right now,
Yeah.
especially in the interactive class.
Yeah.
So
Interactive media is a big thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like
Well, I saw that you guys were working with that that software interface where you could do hand gestures and things like that.
Touch designer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That looks really exciting. How are you enjoying that?
love it. It's so much fun.
it's pretty cool. You can hook up like anything to it, like voice stuff. You can hook up to it, make effects. I'm using a Kinect. Tyrel's using a DJ station,
Yeah, DJ mixer.
DJ mixer. There's lots of cool different things. We actually have a show coming up, which will be done by the time this airs, but that's fine. It's called Touch the Designer. It's not provocative in any way. It's just us showcasing our touch designer stuff.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
really exciting. When
Yeah.
is that?
That's on Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to come to that.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's going to be really awesome.
Yeah. What did we have something else Thursday? Was there like an art show?
Yeah, there's high school art gallery reception.
Oh, right, they're coming in.
High school art
Yeah.
reception. That's another cool thing about Vis Com is like bringing like the one-on-one gallery and just utilizing it for like solo exhibitions from artists that
Mhm.
send their stuff here from all over, or like teacher shows, or having shows specifically for the high school, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Some of the guests that they brought in, about 2 years ago, they brought in a lady from all the way from Quebec.
Quebec.
Yeah.
wow.
She did these wonderful charcoal pieces.
Oh,
can't remember her name, though,
I think
right
I
now.
remember that. I remember that. Yeah, I can't remember her name either. There's a few artists that come through here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some really cool stuff. Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. So about the grad show, I
Yes.
feel like we can talk about the grad show, right? Hindsight
Oh.
2020. Ominous.
Hindsight.
What's
What does it mean to you?
Yeah, what does it mean to you, Emma? What's your role in the overall production?
Right now, I'm on the graphic design team. So I'm working with the collaborative group to design the logos, posters, invitations, handbills, and wayfinding signs, those sort of things.
Great.
Fun.
That's actually a lot of work, right? Like, is it more than you expected for design, or is it just kind of like where you imagined it would be?
It's both, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Tell
I
us.
definitely imagined it to be at this stage when it came to like concrete designs, but I kind of expected it to be a little further along by now in some other areas. So I probably just overestimated and thought it was easier than it was.
Yeah. Common mistake in this program. I feel
Every
like.
time.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so true. You think that you can do something in a day, and it's like, oh, no, you have to do it in 3.
Yeah. That was first project for me, 2D fundamentals. I went home for the
Oh.
weekend, came back, and I was like, I can get this done in like 3 hours. And I was up until class started, like 9 a.m.
Yes.
Newsflash.
Done those.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's how it works. This is college. That's fine. That's fine.
Ah,
Yeah, 2D was a struggle.
Yeah.
2D was a struggle.
It's a lot of like hours.
So
in that
many
class.
hours.
But
Painting.
it makes so much sense now why we actually had to take 2D. The first year, I'm not going to lie, I was angry. I was like, why do I have to take this stupid class? I hate painting. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was building all the little fundamentals that we need for everything else we do.
Yeah.
And I really am appreciative of that class. And I wish I could go back.
And redo it.
I don't.
Mikal, how do you feel about 2D? Because it's been a few.
I've been in the program for 5 years.
Yeah, you extended it, right?
Yep, I did.
Right.
2D, when I took it, was a huge headache.
Mm.
So many little things that you had to figure out, and all of it 110% worth it.
Yeah. Who did you have for a teacher?
I actually had Lou.
You had Lou.
Oh,
I
wow.
did. I
Lou.
was one of
That's
the few who had
surprising.
him. Yeah.
That's
Lucky.
So-
super chill.
Yes.
I can't even
was.
imagine how chill Lou's class would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've had his sculpture classes. They're pretty chill.
I had his drawing class too. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I had him for drawing 2.
Oh, lucky.
So we got to
Oh.
do, totally not supposed to have done it, but we got to do nude models in drawing, even though
Yeah.
that's supposed to be saved for drawing 3.
Yeah.
It's Lou.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bended the rules a little bit, but
Exactly. We love him.
oh yeah, lots of fun.
He's great.
Yeah.
Always safe.
Oh,
Always
yeah.
safe.
Always safe.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Good times. Do you guys have like a piece of advice that you've gotten that like just really resonated with you, or like something that you heard, like one of the instructors was just like, mine was like, draw what you see, and that made me so mad for like 6 months, and then once it clicked, I was like, I literally wasn't drawing what I was looking at. That's like, how did I not understand that? Do you guys have like a piece of advice that you've been given?
Guides.
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 Like grids and guides?
Yes.
Ooh.
I am not a fan of them. I've mostly eyed up everything by eye for most of my life. I don't know why. It's just how I am. And now I find myself obsessively using guides.
Yeah. Do you use the baseline grid?
No, I create my own grids.
Okay.
I still am a little bit outside the box, but I
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, 'cause
Try.
you're a big fan of like the grunge era. What's his name? Carson?
David Carson?
David Carson? Yeah,
Yes.
you're a big fan of like that style, right?
Well, the thing is, I'm a fan in a lot of styles. It was just one that kind of caught my fancy during the time. I try to approach each problem with the mood that it gives off. So
Okay.
even if I'm not super fond of the style, like the typography, that was rough for me. The actual grunge style was fine, but the illegibility quality to it drove
Yeah.
me insane. But I did it because that was the mood I was trying to give off, right?
Okay. Well, you pulled it off quite well.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done.
I tried.
Yeah. Tyrel, how about you?
Probably knowing when to quit.
Knowing when to quit. Ooh,
Yeah.
Who gave you that advice?
Mr. Ian.
Mr. Ian? It's just like, you got to stop working so much on your projects.
Yeah, and I think it relates to like everything too. Just telling myself to stop.
Yeah. Because you go like above and beyond for your projects, I feel like.
It tends to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
The only times I ever see you is like on the couch on your laptop.
Yeah.
And early in the morning, and like I do come in before other people sometimes, but you're still
Yeah.
here. It's
Oh.
amazing. I admire your dedication.
Well, thank you.
It's the grind, you know.
It's a tough grind. I've been
Yeah.
trying to kind of ease back a little bit this semester, but
Yeah.
You
Or
always try to
last.
ease back.
But when you're like having fun doing what you're going to school for, it's kind of like
Yeah, definitely.
It's
so
not
worth it.
Yeah,
Especially if you get like all classes that you enjoy that semester.
Yeah.
You pour everything into it. That was my second year.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost this year.
Yeah.
Almost. Not quite.
Macau, I
Hmm.
can hear you breathing over there.
The biggest one for me was also from Ian, actually, but his big thing with me was I was breaking a lot of the rules all the time, but it was subtle. So he told me that I needed to break the rules on purpose and make it obvious. And I do that a lot now.
Hmm.
And then he gets mad over it because it's so obvious.
Like
I enjoy it.
what were some of the rules you were breaking?
With the way that we were lining things up,
Hmm.
header was supposed to be lined up with the first sentence, but it's supposed to be on the bottom line. I tend to line up the top of the header with the top of the body when they're side by side. So it has a bit of more
Okay.
hang.
Oh, so like a
and
drop cap almost?
Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
like that.
Eventually, your header just starts creeping lower to the bottom.
Yeah, if I could get away with it, it probably would just be at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can get away with it. David Carson, who Jordan mentioned earlier, found an interview so boring that he printed it in one of those like fancy type fonts that are symbols. Nobody could read it, but it's because the interview was boring.
Gotta add that creativity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do what you want.
Spice things up.
Oh man, it'd be great to be like just to have that much power. You know, just
Yeah.
be like, this
Yeah.
sucks.
I'm just going to do what I want.
Printing it in umbrella font.
I think it was like alien type or something like that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
I
exciting.
hate the idea of getting really popular, but I would love to be able to break all the rules like that because everyone they know you already.
Yeah.
You've already got your fame. You can do whatever you want
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
But like, how did they get there is my question. Like, were they always this way through school? Were they just rebellious and they just did their own thing and they made it? Or did they follow the rules and go through the grind, keep their head to the ground, and then when they got out, exploded and did what they want?
I don't know. Aren't there studies that
It's
say
interesting.
like students who get like on average, like fairly average grades, like B's, are always on this like drive to like push harder, and they eventually just kind of take off, as opposed to like students that
Yeah.
always get A's.
Students
They
who
just,
get B's, it's because they're more willing to take risks. So because sometimes you take a risk late in the game, you might get a lower grade because your product isn't as great, but you also took a risk to try something new.
right. So
Right?
lots of like
Yeah.
trial and error learning.
Yes.
Happy accidents. Yeah.
Gotta love them.
We miss you, Bob Ross.
Yeah. There's so many like happy accidents too. Like a lot of stuff that I've done in art, people are like, "Oh, it's awesome." I'm like, totally didn't even mean for that to happen. It just like I clicked the wrong button and boom, there it was.
I can't remember who said it, but there's an artist that we were watching just the other day, and he said, as a graphic designer, I just move things until it looks good.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I feel that. I feel you.
Make one minor change. Oh, that's a new composition.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice. And grids help with that. Do you guys have a favorite designer? Any favorites?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm a big vanilla guy.
Yeah, Massimo.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that did like the I Love New York?
Wasn't that...
Shoot.
We just watched a movie.
oh, goodness.
I think Mikkel's gonna look
I
that
will
up.
find it.
Thank
Heck
you.
yeah, brother. What do we got?
I do remember that video,
Yeah.
and it was very
Hugh
interesting.
Lubelin?
Lublin?
Lubalin, as
However
Ian
you
calls
pronounce
him.
his name.
Herb.
It would really help if the college's
Is it your
Wi-Fi
favorite herb?
was
Is it your
decent.
favorite Herb? Ugh, the puns. They get you every time. Yeah. Is the Wi-Fi not working?
It is not wanting to work.
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right. Well, it
But-
was somebody who said it.
We can just toss out random names at will.
I'm sure somebody eventually will figure it out and we'll get like a comment on the page.
Yeah. There's always like we just watched a movie today, a documentary that I was like very deep into. And I still can't remember that guy's name. Started with an R. He's a German guy.
Rams.
I think Rams.
Dieter
Mhm.
Rams.
Rams was today.
Yes.
Yeah.
The I Love New York was Milton Glaser.
right.
Is he the guy?
Right.
He did like a lot of the illusion posters, right? Like it looked
Yeah.
like a poster folded over, but it was really just a full-on poster kind of stuff.
Yeah. He did like the top corner. It looked like it was bent over.
Yeah, that's some cool
Cool.
It
stuff.
was very clever.
Yeah,
Nice.
Zakowski actually did that on her like onion poster. She did like
Oh, yes,
transparency
I
paper.
saw that.
Yes.
That tripped me
Nice.
out for a second. I love that stuff. So good.
Sick.
I liked both of her posters. The other one was that post-it note, and
Yeah,
the shadowing on it makes it look like there's real post-it notes.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, one of them is real.
yeah. Got him.
Yep.
Does Frank Lloyd Wright count as a designer? I know he's more the architect, but
Yeah, he's mentioned like a lot in at least the art history textbooks for architecture. But was he like part of the arts and crafts movement or something like that too? He was part of something else. I feel
yeah,
like.
I feel like he was like either he was part of the arts and crafts or he was part of the oh goodness, their motto is head, hand, and heart.
Was it the Roy Crofters?
The Roy
Was that it?
Crofters. That's what I was
I feel
thinking of.
bad
I
if-
don't know if that's Frank Lloyd Wright though. It's the Roy Crofters.
If Clint's listening to this right
I
now,
know.
I'm
We're
so
sorry, Clint.
Yeah.
Don't judge us.
Yeah, do not.
We
judge
did
us.
love the artwork. We just didn't necessarily absorb all the names.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
That was a lot of
terrible
names.
with
there's a couple hundred names dates like per semester.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you count like all the names dates mediums.
I went through all the images for the final, well, actually just for midterm. There were over 300 different images.
For real.
He didn't have
Wow.
all of them on the test, of course, but there were over 300.
But you had to know that.
That's a lot of artwork.
Yeah.
Flashcards will save your life.
Oh,
big
yes.
time.
Flashcards are gold.
Oh yeah. Like 2 to 3 days of solid studying with flashcards and you're just like, yeah.
Especially
Pretty
for visual people. Remember that. If you are listening to this and you are wanting to go into arts or anything like that, look at things. You're a visual learner.
Yeah. For sure.
It helps so much.
It does help.
It's the best. Yeah, Emma, were you were a little bit older when you came back to school too, right?
Yeah, I was. I came back when I was 22.
22.
Yeah, so I'm 25 now.
25.
I just left school. Well, actually, I didn't leave school. I was homeschooled. I left home and worked for a couple years, and I was a little afraid to come to college because I've never been in a classroom setting. And when you have as spotty of a home education as me, sometimes you wonder if you don't know as much as everyone else and how everyone's going to treat you. And then you get out in the real world and you're like, everybody forgot like 3/4 of what they learned in school anyways. You're
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
And too, like
100%.
in like art history class, I remember you just like popping off with like Latin phrases and stuff, and I was just like, what?
That's due to my mother.
Yeah, so it's like I would say like your homeschooling sounds pretty tight. Like you have a good base.
I have really good like history and sociology and like English and art, but when it comes to math and science, I just like I love science, don't get me wrong, and I can pop off random facts about the brain, but that's because I'm actually interested in it, not like my mom forced me in those areas. That's why I felt like it was spotty.
Yeah.
But then I realized not everyone knows everything about everything.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I would say don't worry about the math part
No,
Yeah.
math is
because
junk.
most people
Forget everything.
Yeah, I see. I just forgot already again.
Calculus, don't even ask.
Yeah, why do I need to do a roller coaster chart on a calculator?
I didn't understand
What's
why
the
they
point of
threw
that?
numbers and letters in together. Like, why? Why would you do that
Just
to
to
me?
mess with you.
I just
rocket
don't
science.
understand
Yeah.
this.
School.
Yeah, we all just like brain melt immediately. Shouldn't have talked about math.
No, exactly. As soon as it comes into like, okay, we need to format documents, as a designer, that's the only time I panic because I'm like, okay, it's got to be this many inches and then it needs to have this much of a bleed and then it's all the math. And it's not really that much math, but you get overwhelmed. At least I do.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I hit that margin, even though it's already preset, I see numbers and I just panic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I don't panic.
I get weirded out between like the 1/8 inch and the 1/4 inch. Sometimes I mix them up. And then I'm like, that line is way too narrow. It's bad.
That happens. How are you with like bleed and margin settings?
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah,
As long as it's in inches.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Moving anything
Yeah,
else.
pixels, and it's like, I don't even want to start.
Don't even get me on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. No.
But yeah, we, like, you guys learned all of this. We kind of did too in like print production class, right? Like,
Yeah.
You learn about like printing materials and.
Yeah, and like I learned a lot too because I took type 2 there first year, so I learned a lot in that class as well, which helped
Yeah.
a lot. Plus, I'm good with measuring because that's what I did when I worked,
Yeah.
basically.
What, were you a carpenter?
No, I worked at a grain terminal for 4 years.
Oh, boy.
And then I worked in Saskatchewan as a granite and quartz installation guy.
So you worked with rocks.
Yeah, heavy rocks.
Yeah.
Very heavy.
Yeah. Ty, you were like, how old were you when you came into this program?
How old am I now? I'm 24.
So you're 22?
22?
Carry the 8.
Right? 20. Yeah, I think I was 22. No, 21. 22. 21.
Oh,
22.
okay. Somewhere in
I think
there.
I turned
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, so you guys were both kind of like similar.
Yeah.
Macau, you were
Yeah.
older as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I started in a completely different program first, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
So-
That happens. That actually happens. A lot of people, like, just take an art course and then just fall in love with it, and then they're
Mhm.
like, I don't want to do what I was doing anymore.
A lot of
Wanna do art.
social workers do. A lot of social
Really?
workers.
Hmm.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
come here and take a program. Well, one of our, we had a social worker who was taking our program for 2 years, Julie.
Oh yeah.
She, of course,
yeah,
found
yeah.
a job and is working in town, very happy. But she's talking about how lots of her friends talk about how they want to go into art, and they're all in the social sector.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's very useful. Like even Louisa wants to do kind of like art therapy.
Yep.
Yeah,
So like a form
Okay.
of social work. Is that how that program works?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Very.
That's interesting. Art as like a healing medium.
Well, it should be a healing medium.
Definitely.
Yeah, it should be.
It's a way that everyone can express themselves no matter how they want. Especially nowadays, I would say that we're becoming more accepting of art, which is something I love and something that also makes me cringe a little bit because you remember like the garbage piles that kept getting swept up at the one museum because they thought it was garbage instead of an art installation.
Well, yeah,
But
yeah, it looked like garbage.
The benefit is that people can make abstract art and it is actually considered art.
Mm.
There was a time when it would not have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
The banana.
Yeah.
Yes, the banana.
Banana. Kudos to the. I hope the guy who ate it wasn't like a part of it, and he was just like some guy having a bad day and was like, "This banana's stupid. I'm gonna eat it."
I'm just going to eat my fellow artist's product.
Yeah, yeah. That would be way better. But if it was like planned, that's just
It
like.
takes away
I
from
mean,
it.
Yeah,
maybe
well,
if
yeah.
it was like a performance piece.
Well, that's what he said. He did it as a performance piece. He's a performance artist.
Oh,
Oh.
typical
yeah.
artist.
Typical.
Justifying everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're taught to justify everything.
Yeah. Basically.
I came into school thinking, I don't know anything about why I do my art. I just love it. And now I can tell you exactly why I did my art.
Yeah. Well, that's like a good thing about art too, is that like in this program, I think you learn to like dig deeper into why you actually do things.
Exactly.
It just like helps you understand yourself better.
Well, it's
which is
critical
nice.
thinking skills. It's fantastic.
Oh, yes. Critical thinking.
oh, yes.
Yes. Another gift. A visual communications program. Cal, how much time do we have left? What have we done?
Minute-ish.
Do we start talking about ASMR now?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Who wants to hear me curl my mustache again?
Do I stroke
All of us? I do actually, but I won't.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
That's, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's
beautiful.
good.
You like that?
Keep in mind, those are James's mics, and he will find out.
It wasn't me.
There are two beards here. Who done it?
Dun, dun, dun.
You'll never know.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good show. We can probably
Yeah,
we
I
can
think
probably
so.
wrap it up there.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, thanks again, Emma and Tyrel. And thank you for tuning into the Hindsight Graduation Podcast. To learn more about our grads, listen to more episodes, click like, subscribe, Grad Show MHC is on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't need to sing that, but I did. Also, visit our brand new website, hindsight.gallery. And don't be afraid to come visit us on our new website. Yeah. That's me making notes and then getting confused by my own notes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.